Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm painting Han. Just like last 2 weeks, we will paint for using the 3-step value techniques to bougainvillea flowers and a house. I'll be using a micro O3 pen for the sketch and the colors. You can see the reference photo on the right side of the video. I took it during my trip. In the photo, there's a tree on the left, but I'm going to replace that into bougainvillea flowers. So feel free to get creative too. If there's a tree you prefer, you can replace it in your own drawing. We will use today are opera, Qunacridone magenta, bright violet, ultramarine deep, soft green, and a bit of brown. Let's start with a simple and clean sketch using the micron pen. Right now I'm drawing ground, then the door of the house. Over the door there's a small balcony, and above that we will add another window. I don't like straight and perfect lines. I prefer using a little wave and uneven lines, sometimes thick, sometimes thin. They will bring a sense of freedom and natural feelings. Let's draw a balcony using uneven some curved lines. Let's draw electric lines and a small object right side of the paper. I think this is some bell. I'm drawing a small window with a tiny flower pot on the windowsill. Then draw bougainvillea flower with uneven and unperfected lines. This is the branches. Bougainvillea has very twisty, tangled branches. They will give some kind of nostalgia and old things vibe, right? Let's add some bricks on the wall and doors, window, and another little pots, one for left side and one more on the right side. Now it's time to start coloring. First, I'm wetting the area where the flower will go, because today we are using the wet-on-it technique. To make it easier, we will use the 3-step coloring process. Let's follow the 1, 2, 3 steps we've been practicing over the past 2 weeks. Okay? It might not be easy at first, but don't worry. Just go in with confidence and give it a try. I think you will get it really fun. I hope you enjoy today's lesson, okay? I've mixed ochre, quinacridone magenta, and bright violet to make a very light value. This will be our number one first value of the color, the right tone, light value. Next, we are going to make the second value. I'm using the some three colors as before, but mix a bit deeper value to make a middle tone. This is the middle tone, second value. Now I'm tapping the second value of the first layer. Just a soft tap, 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 tap. Hold your brush gently and use a light touch, almost like you are tapping the paper. It might be nice to add a few fallen petals on the ground later. Also, I will use a splattering technique around the flowers with light flowers color. After finishing the second value, we will come back to add the third value once this area has dried a bit. Let's move on to painting the small window. I'm mixing ultramarine deep with the flower color, and I will use that to paint the window, door, and it will be using shadow too. I'm using a mixture of ultramarine deep and the purple color, flower color. I'm adding a second value of the this door color, shadow color. You need to just remember it. First, second, third value of the color. That is very important. I'm also adding a few small petals and leaves here and there. For leaves, I'm using a soft green and ultramarine deep. If there's a spot you want to add something, go ahead. This is your painting. Feel free to make it your own. So just enjoy it. Now I'm creating a third value and adding it on top of the second value. Honestly, I should have come back to this part just a minute earlier. I think the papers is a little dried. Timing is important, especially when working with wet on technique. So I'm not perfect either. Sometimes make mistake and mess up the timing. Switch a tiny brush for drawing branches, a small petal and twisted branches. Okay, let's paint the branches. I mixed a bit of brown into the third value flower color to make a branch color. Try drawing both thin and slightly thicker lines for more natural looking branches. When I paint like this, I try not to use perfectly slight lines, or make everything the same size. I like a bit of variety. It makes the drawing feel more natural. And I think this kind of looseness invite the viewer to use their imagination. Throw some branches freely and using uneven and some curved lines. Adding some sap green on the among the flower. Today's I'm using the color Opera Qunacridone Magenta and bright violet and a bit of brown and sap green, ultramarine tip. Let's continue using the same color for the terrace shadow as well. Using consistent colors helps keep the painting simple and lets the bougainbillea flowers stand out. Then we are going to work on shadows, tree, leaves, and terrace. Electric wires is extra small things. I mixed the ultramarine dip to flower color for shadow. The sun coming from left top side, so shadow will be stayed right lower area. So now I'm working on the shadow. This is the flower shadow. Now I'm trying to small thing, draw some shadow and shadow of the electric wire line and cover the ground with light blue. I'm taking a brown and a little bit of dark brown, and I'm going to try the terrace. Let's focus on the smaller details, the terrace, the electric wires, and those tiny flower pots, and doors, window. These little elementaries add charm to the painting, right? I'm trying to small a window. We are now at the final stage of the painting. Let's use the spreader technique one more time to add a painting of freedom and movement. I like this technique. And if there are any other spots you want to touch up, take your time and add them slowly. Now let's take a step back and look at the whole composition. This is a good time to check the balance of the painting. Are there any areas that feel too empty or too much busy? So, is there any some part? Sometimes just one or two small touches can make the entire painting feel more complete, right? Tiny flowers. I'm using orange and yellow color. Let's also add some detail to the ground. Maybe a few light shadows under the flower pots or around the base of the house. Use a diluted mixture of ultramarine deep and a touch of burnt sienna for gentle shadow. Try to keep it soft and not too harsh. I'd like to add some shadow on the next window area. Electric wires shadow. Now I'm going to add some tiny flower buds, and this is the blix or unopened petals here and there. Electric wire. I'm drawing electric wire with dark brown. I'm using uneven lines. This is the final touch up for today's painting. Now I'm going to add some tiny flowers buds or opened petals here and there. They don't have to be perfect, just tiny little hints of colors to show for petals, right? Alright, did you enjoy today's painting? If you did, please hit a like button and don't forget to subscribe. Be proud of what you created today, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye.